transforming landscape. Before we begin, I would like to express our heartfelt condolences to Dr. Bharat Panchal, who was initially scheduled to join us today as a speaker. Dr. Panchal is a renowned leader in the field of cybersecurity and risk management. Unfortunately, due to the recent passing of his mother, he is unable to attend. Our thoughts and prayers are with Dr. Panchal and his family during this difficult time. It is our privilege to welcome Mr. Vinayak Godse, the CEO of the Data Security Council of India, to this webinar. As a visionary leader, Mr. Godse has been instrumental in shaping India's data security and privacy landscape. With over 16 years of leadership at DSCI, he has driven the organization's mission to establish a self-regulatory framework for data security and privacy, fostering trust, collaboration, and innovation across industries. Mr. Godse continues to lead the charge in strengthening the cybersecurity ecosystem, championing innovation, and building a future-ready strategy to combat emerging challenges. We are delighted to have him here today to share his insights on the challenges and opportunities shaping the future of cybersecurity. Next, we are honored to introduce Professor Sandeep Shukla, a highly respected academician and thought leader in cybersecurity. Professor Shukla holds the prestigious Rajiv and Ritu Batra Indoor Chair Professorship in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Kanpur and serve as the Program Director of C3iHub, a pioneering center focused on cybersecurity and critical infrastructure protection. With this deep understanding of the subject and a vision for fostering innovation, Professor Shukla has been at the forefront of addressing complex cybersecurity challenges. Today, he will share his insights on cybersecurity landscape 2025, the challenges, the innovations, and the hackathon advantage. We are privileged to have Professor Shukla with us and look forward to hearing his profound perspective on the subject. With such exceptional speakers, this session promises to be highly engaging and informative. So without further delay, let's begin.
Thank you, Chandan.
Now I request Professor Sandeep Shukla to take the stage and kick off the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandan, for the introduction. First of all, let me say, we are very grateful to Vinayak ji for giving us time. Under his leadership, DSCI is doing so many things that, I can understand that he must be really, really busy. So, and that is probably why we are also doing this on a Sunday, which probably is the only way to catch hold of him. And also, as Chandan has mentioned, that earlier Dr. Bharat Panchal was supposed to join. Unfortunately, because of this family situation, he is unable to join today. But our prayers and thoughts are with him. So, Vinayak ji, I am going to, since we are talking about 2025, cybersecurity threat landscape, there is nothing better than referring to the 2025 threat report that DSCI has brought out under your leadership. So I was going through the report, and I will try to ask you some questions, just for the sake of the our people, listeners. Some of these thoughts and concerns that have been expressed in the report. The report is pretty long. It's over 100 pages. So I want to bring to the attention of people a few things that are clear from the report. So in the report, towards the end, there is a nice list of short-term and long-term threat prospects, and the short-term ones has increased APT, nation-state activities, advanced persistent threat activities, threats from AI, AI-powered cyber attacks, the third one on the list is quantum computing. Fourth, I mean, it may not be in the ranked order. It's just a list, I guess. Supply chain compromise, and then more. We are expecting more critical infrastructure targeting. So these five were in the list of short-term predictions. So my question is, yesterday only, the NVIDIA CEO, he mentioned that it's 10 to 20 years when quantum computing would be commercially available. That gives us a little more breathing room than we have been telling everybody to actually become post-quantum ready by 2030. So if he is right and 2035 is the 35 or later is the time, then we might be, we have a little more breathing room for transforming our crypto systems, within that time frame. So, what is your, views on this? Like, is quantum computing threat imminent, or is it quantum computing threat we can kind of, work towards becoming post-quantum, but not in a, increased pace or something?
Yeah, so this is very after his statement, I'm seeing some of the quantum computer companies stock got down and a lot of criticism also coming. And
Yeah.
there are some criticism which are very naive in nature, but some of the criticism has been going and really investigating at a detailed level, basically, right? So yes, there is this technology has these challenges, right? So there is a paradigm under which things works, and there is a one small thing or something big thing which takes us to new paradigm. And what we have seen in December 2022, where entire effort of generative AI was going since early 2010s, and suddenly, and after that, I think 2022 was one where transfer was available, but somebody quickly brought it. OpenAI got that advantage, and all of them working on this was got stuck with that, right? So, and because I lived that Y2K because I was in telecom in Y2K, preparation was there. So these thresholds and these triggers and these anomalies that people talk about in terms of history of science, there's a very interesting idea. There's a paradigm and something changes to next paradigm, basically. So quantum was supposed to be the next one after December 2022. And suddenly Google Willow chip, when it came, so everybody started thinking, no, it is accelerating. So maybe 2030, early 2030. And suddenly we started seeing that in policy that governments are started asking organization to prepare for it. So PQC is definitely one important, and there may be, if you really believe on this statement, there may be some room for us, but there's no room for crypto agility. Means we believe that we need to invest effort to make crypto agile so that any shocking development, we should be prepared for that. And that's why as a DSA, we are largely focusing attention to crypto agility side, right? Assess and know your crypto strength better and see whether there are a lot of crypto implementation which has been done in a very hardcore way. Can you really unplug the algorithm from the system that we build? All the vendor ecosystem that you work with, the vendor product that you have, is there a way for you achieving at least the agility part first? And then probably prepare for PQC implementation. By the time PQC itself will mature, means we still don't have much of the production level learnings from PQC algorithm. So by the time those learnings will also come.
Right. Okay. So I guess so as you said that even if the statement is true that crypto agility has to be brought in, and everybody should work on their crypto bill of materials, they should try to figure out how to extricate the hard-coded crypto into agile crypto so that it can be plugged in and out with post-quantum as and when they are available. And there is no harm in actually doing all this early enough so that we are ready for any kind of eventuality. So that's a very good point. So another question. So I was reading this book, very interesting book by two people from Princeton University. One of them was actually our student in IIT Kanpur, Shayes Kapoor. He's now doing PhD with Arvind Narayanan, and it's called the AI Snake Oil. I don't know if you have seen this book. It's actually making a lot of noise. And I actually read and liked the book. And there, what they are saying is that AI as a predictive tool works on certain things, where it doesn't work always where people are trying to sell. For example, they give example of cases where prediction of whether a person should be given bail is based on some kind of a software that some company sold to the prison authorities by trying to predict what is the chance of another offense by the person if he is given bail. And it turned out that it was about 60% accurate, which means that if I had taken a coin and tossed it and decided, it would not be much much worse than what happened, because people who were given bails based on this actually committed more heinous crimes, and people who were not given, we cannot tell whether they would have done it or not. But in any case, so that book actually has a lot of things to say with real data about real so-called products from various companies, and say that they are giving good predictions and so on. So it's saying that certain things such as human behavior, etc., are it's difficult to predict. But on the other hand, things which are more deterministic, there the prediction may work, right? So they have a very this thing. So now we are hearing. So recently I was actually at a conference where one of the panelists was saying that, tomorrow we are going to have the LLM based agents based on LLMs attacking us, and the LLMs based agents will be also fighting that, right? So human will have no role. The LLM agents will attack us, and the LLM agents will actually protect us, and then it will be a matter of who learns better and how they adapt and so on. But that seems to me like a little too much of a fantasy world. Although in this field you never know, because when I was growing up I had no idea about that one day we'll have say a Zoom calls or cell phones or anything, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so what is your view on this? Like when we say AI powered threat,
Yeah, so there are two parts to question you have, right? So one is the what AI can do. Can it may human may we follow and we try to look at the one of the key discussions, consciousness and AI, right? Can it become a conscious AI assume or acquire consciousness the way human has, right? And we we always had this debate for a long for hundreds of tens of years of time to to what we are doing actually in AI is like we're improving AI to know ourselves better through that sense, basically, right? So and human experience is a very subjective in nature. I mean, any situation that I get into, I experience it bit different than anybody else. And also the self-awareness is one of the important one. And the discussion of Chetna that we talk about is a consciousness discussion, right? And then our emotions are definitely very important part of what we have, and our consciousness is definitely important part of it we have. But one part is the data, and other part is and that's a missing link here. Larger understanding is always people talk in terms of data, but the way the trillion parameter models are there, and they most likely be becoming quintillion parameter models, basically, right? So what matters is attention. Um, AI LLM systems may not really consume the data. What they really learn to give attention to things that is hidden in that particular line, that particular paragraph, that particular book, or any much PDF file that you submit, basically, right? So eventually, if they are able to give attention to all of those possible subjective experiences. And what I'm trying to say is, can you create an objective understanding of subjective experiences for that matter, right? I mean, I know it may not be 100% emulate how human experience and they are self-aware. So I was reading one very interesting report where some of the scientists uh, tried to understand the laughs. And there are they looked at almost million years history of different animals, how they laugh and which way they laugh, and they created a lot of data. And out of that, they realized that there are 800 different type of laughs that we all go on basically. So means the emotions now express the laugh as emotions expressed in 800 different type basically, right? So we also, for example, if you go to what Facebook or all this thing, we also laugh there, but laugh there are degree of laugh as well, right? So if there is a way for us to capture the degree, we will capture everything by infinite time, but 90% of the time, basically, for that matter, if you capture that, then probably a large part of your subjective experience can be uh, expressed in objective terms, right? And that is where the emotional wave as a concept is coming, right? Entire discussion about Web 5 is an emotional wave, putting together Web 3 and Web 2, and more importantly, because machines would also try to understand emotions of the human better, at least, and they always talk about probability 90% time or 25% time. So this is one thing which is happening. Second, the biodigital interfaces which is coming in, and there's already some approval and Neuralink got for eye interface they build, and then there's a chip that build, and a lot of body inserts that's already got approval basically. So the digitization of biological data is coming as well, right? And third important part is coming is the physical world is becoming more digital, and AI in a physical world is now becoming so intensely important, and a lot of the new models that NVIDIA or many others are putting together, plus on the compute that they are trying to put together. So they are trying to understand the environment better, physical world better. All this comes together. Then I'm not saying 100 out of 100. Some significant part of the human experiences or awareness uh, can can be expressed and can be computed as well, basically. And probably that is the reason where people are started saying that maybe there is a possibility of AI becoming a little bit conscious, may not be like us, but be conscious, and it will know how do you give attention to. And some maybe in one instance, AI may not be providing attention to a particular pointers, a particular area, but it will also correct itself that probably it was wrong. And once it learns to give attention to the element, for example, this attention is something I focus nowadays a lot. It has a lot of parameters, but it will, depending on situation it is thrown, it will learn to give attention to. Then it will become perfect to give attention to a particular thing or particular situation, basically. And that's the age where we believe AGI discussion that people talk about, and eventually ASI that we are hearing that is also accelerating journey towards ASI as well. And maybe some of these ideas give some strength to that argument, but yes, there could be still something that is a human in nature. I'm not sure whether it will be able to replicate it or not.
Yeah, so I think that of course there are two parts of AI security, right? One is securing your models and securing your agents that you are using for various autonomous decision making, and the other part is actually the AI generated threats and how you can actually deal with such generated threats. But let's move on to another topic, which is in the DSCI report. It says that mobile attacks last year, 42% were malware, and 32% were actually unwanted programs, and about 26% were adware. Right now, one other problem that we actually pointed out several times to ministry and all, which is the problem of bloatware, inside the cheaper mobiles, right? And the South Korea, for example, has banned packing bloatware into the mobiles, and China has made a law that you have to make it uninstallable. That is, the users should be able to uninstall it. But in India, we have not made such a law. And about 3-4 years ago, we had a long, report, and we actually looked into the bloatware and how they are interacting with the various cloud services, even before you actually, put in your SIM card. If you just connect it to the network, and we actually gave that report to the government, and we asked them, and there was actually a report created by DOT for actually making some rules for the mobile vendors. But I think there the mobile vendor lobbies might be too strong, and therefore nothing happened, right? So we're still having too much bloatware, and that is, I think, is a security problem, because we do not know what those bloatware are doing. They might be giving out various kinds of information about our population, and I have a feeling that a lot of the future warfare will be actually in hacking people's minds. We already have seen such things,
Yeah.
and to hack people's mind, you need to know what they like, what they dislike, what they hate, what kind of things excite them. And if 75% of our mobiles are foreign, northern neighbor, and this gives me a huge concern that this kind of situation will lead to so much data in the hands of various other countries that we won't be able to stop this kind of human mind hacking. And has DSC been looking into this problem and
Yeah,
engaging?
this report is largely, and this is one of the effort we are putting together.
Mm,
There are company like Quickhealer Securite, which has installations on
mhm,
Indian end user or and
mm,
inside enterprises as well, right? And we always see from the Western geography how people use those data to create those intelligence. So what we are motivating and probably inspiring our companies,
mm,
Quickly is one of the significant B2C cybersecurity company. They have product and they have installation, they have agents on
mhm,
almost 8 to 9 million desktop. This was idea that can we not look at that data basically, right? Similarly, there is one email security company where we work with them, and with the data that they have, we publish a report on email security as well, right? So this is a 8 million samples that we looked at, from that we looked at. But what you are saying is very right, because as you rightly say, hacking human mind is understanding human emotions better, understanding their behavior in different contexts better, basically, right? And if this bloatware and definitely remain as very important national strategy priority area, and some countries has done something, because uh, getting a device in a clean set and then you choose application what you want to work on is different
mm,
thing. But by default applications there, you don't never
mm,
know what exactly the connections are being made and data
mm,
is being captured and shared. And as we rightly said, at the end of the day, the hacking human mind is as an effort to create that synthetic reality, and
mhm,
that getting people attracted to that reality, right? Once you understand human better, so creating that synthetic reality will be much better, and then that reality can play on. And some of the advanced versions of this deepfake that we talk about does give those signals. Basically, they talk about multimodal deepfake, and
right.
which triggers that emotion. And one of the challenge of this insular web you talk about, especially
Mm,
application specific web, insular web is a very tunneled way of engaging and extracting, basically, right? And
right.
that especially challenges with the visuals, videos and images, basically, right? Because if
Mhm,
videos and images and your reaction to that, because you emotionally react to that, and
mhm,
emotional reaction, if you understand the emotions better, for each and every user contextualize it better, you can manipulate their emotions much better,
mhm,
basically, right? So any effort or any such kind of thing which, and that's why emotional web is very important, and that's why some of the research in USA, like if you are going for such kind of thing, then this centralized way of collecting data and processing the web 2 shouldn't be only way to do that basically, right? So how can we make networks more decentralized so that learning of all this is not concentrated in some people's hand so that they can
Right.
manipulate it basically, right? So this is definitely national strategic kind of thing, and end user may not have much of the understanding and
Right.
comprehension about it actually.
Right. Okay, so I think we all are concerned about this. Now, another thing that caught my eye, in the report, and I think something that needs to be done about it, which is when it looked at top target sectors in 2024. It turns out that based on the data, the healthcare sector 24%, hospitality sector 20%, and BFSI 17%. So my thought would have been that the BFSI must be the most affected one, but healthcare is also, we know that AIMS attack in 2022 and all that. We know that the Reddy's lab was attacked during the COVID time when they were probably working on vaccines and so on. So, and also we know ICMR probably lost data, etc. So healthcare is a big concern, and I am very concerned because when we talk to people from healthcare industry, their cybersecurity posture is probably not the best that you should they could have. And one of the thing that is oftentimes the threat, various threats are not understood. Like for example, when AIMS attack happened, I was thinking that the prime minister and president and everybody's health data is there, and if that data goes into the wrong hand, they would know what pathogens work on these particular individuals and so on. So high target individuals, maybe military officials and all, they go to AIMS. So I think that was not understood properly. It seems so. Similarly, a lot of healthcare industry thinks that they are not so much of a target. But this report kind of should open their eyes and take this thing very seriously, because healthcare sector seems to be one of the top targeted sectors. So is there any effort by DSCI also to reach out to the healthcare
Yeah, so
sector?
we in fact, one is the membership web of the DSA is very diverse in nature, but health sector happened a little bit differently.
Hmm.
Most of them came to us in last 2-3 years of time. In fact, we did a very interesting strategy session because CISO function is still not there in health sector. Mostly there will be a IT lead or CIO function, right? So many things of security flows through CISO function, and we did 100 CIO. We did a strategy specific training program, 5 weeks. Every weekend we'll come together and we deliberate on how digitization is really pushing health sector hard. And this digitization is their own requirement, but digitization, because of the society and countries are also asking health sector to go more digitalized, because that's where you can make it more accessible and you can reduce the cost required to provide delivery of the health services. Basically, in India, is even talking about UHID, replicating the digital stack or the digital public infrastructure story in health sector. So, and challenges there are very interesting because in banking industry, in many industry, we have seen mature IT security functions. But here, sudden transformation to digital is happening, but the function itself are not really mature, basically. Right? So now in significant part of our membership is expanding in health sector. Most of the big hospitals are connected to us. Then we realize that we need to take a extra effort. So we have been now present in many such forum, NatHealth for that matter, Kahotech. There is a technology in health sector specific industry body that we now closely work with them. There's a specific associations of a for example, there is a one specific association of a all the eye hospital they bring together. So there are various different facets and initiatives and associations, individual level plus hospital level, and there is a specific thing that we did for government sector hospitals as well, because private sector hospitals are still maturing there, and we see a lot of maturity there. But government sector hospital, we are seeing a lot of those challenges, and many times what happens in some of the government sector hospital, because they get funding from the government, and the most of the funding is reimbursement based. The processes are very raw in many of these things, basically, right? And then we have seen in case of the AIMS, but we see a lot of those challenges, and now at the same time they're digitally aggressive as well. So at our conference itself, we have multiple things which we did. We did with one health sector summit, sub summit kind of thing, where all of those CIO, CTO, and some CISOs in health came together. This sector is also not really regulated for security. RBI regulated it very well, and that's why banking sector looks see the maturity of the cyber security space. So how can we address some of these from the regulation perspective? How can we address from developing competence within the health sector organization? These are things that we have been doing, and I think some of them are also engaged with you. For example, Narayana Health CIO is one of the key mentor to us. We also engage with Apollo, engage with Fortis, and many such kind of hospitals nowadays. So this is the area we are also expanding and also learning in the process. Basically, how can we take the security discussion to the health sector is a process for us to learn and contribute there.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So that's very reassuring to hear. So now I am going to one point in the report that basically is the list of threats or list of trends in long term, not into immediately. One is a battle for digital sovereignty.
Yeah.
So this is something that we are also thinking about, because one thing that I have been seeing on the various committees that I have been in various sectors, I see that there is a lot of products in the, for example, your EDR or for your SOC functionality, lot of products, for example, are cloud based, which means that all your data is going to a cloud maintained by that particular organization. Now, this cloud, by data localization rule, they are probably in India. That is true. But not only me, but some other experts in various committees have expressed concern that even though that the data is not going abroad, but overall trained data, any kind of data that is noticed, the weaknesses that are noticed in this organization, this kind of data may go away even outside the country through this cloud services. So sovereign cloud is a concern, is something that one has to think about. But then when I look at the cloud offerings, local, totally, indigenous cloud offerings, I hear that they have not as good as performance, as good as customer service, or their downtimes, recovery times, etc., are not acceptable for many businesses. So therefore, they are all going for these other cloud services. So is there something that we should do as a country for this kind of things? I think you're muted.
So this is an area we dwell deeper from the SCI side, because we believe if these concerns get addressed, there better possibility of innovation and digitization won't happen, because many public sectors are still not really scoring well with respect to digitization. And if you really, there is a very interesting report of MOPNG on a vision for oil energy sector, and they identify the productivity side or many other parameters side. If you look at the global peer uh, against which we look at Indian oil energy players, we're really lagging because adoption of technology is not really that advanced in India, especially cloud, data science, and analytics and AI, basically, right? And one important realization that we are trying to make, and we also really believe in that, uh, digitization or innovation, you need to uh, have the capability with you, right? And those capabilities may be delivered in a very professional way in any part of the globe. And you should have ability to access and make use of those capabilities, basically. So many of the policy directions from the cloud, especially Megaraj policy, is infrastructure as a service. But infrastructure is one part, but capability comes as a SaaS, right? In a platform or SaaS, basically, right? So there is no provision of that in a public policy ecosystem we created for cloud. So it's largely the infrastructure service, basically, right? So, and it's very difficult as well to have a policy for the SaaS because there's so many different capability I use, right? And I had seen, I'd met somebody who was very against this cloud, and he was very much for the localization. But after all this transformation that we have seen in last 2 3 years, especially to AI coming in and how it is, because I built my own NVIDIA GPU cluster in the ACI, and I realized how difficult it is to one is to keep up to date, and more importantly, maintain that, and more importantly, get it utilized, basically, right? So now all that compute is available on cloud. One is a compute, and other part is a capability, right? If you push hard for localization, then you will not able to get hold of those capability, and also not able to leverage those compute available on cloud, basically, right? So then what we really, it's come to a kind of enlightenment and reflection for us as well. So sovereignty is not localization. So most of the sovereignty discussion ties that to the localization, basically, right? But can we not look at how can we own your data? And the technology can give quite an interesting answer to this question, basically, right? Sovereignty is your ability to own the thing, and also sovereignty is also nothing but your ability to exert those controls on the thing that is available, right? Because we are struggling, means as you rightly said, because of this capability, professionalism, services, the public CSP's global platform, so they gain out of that, and that's why we tend to go with them, basically, right? So, but now technology can solve the problem of ownership better, solve the problem of control better, solve the problem of so many different challenges we have with respect to this cloud. And now compete coming in for that matter, a lot of this new encryption technology coming in, you can exert those controls with the technology, basically. And there, I think that should be the way for us, rather than simple, uh, because even if it is localized, I'm not sure what more benefit it gives, basically, right? One of the important requirement is right to audit, but that can be possible irrespective of the way data is, basically, right? So this is also, we also gone through this journey, and this is why increasingly we are making our opinion on this, that more important is your ability to own the thing, and also ability to exert the control on that. If that is being assured with the technology proves, basically, then probably location of data doesn't matter anything. But yes, there are some areas, some requirements, basically, which may require. But in large cases, it may not, and that's why it is reflected in DPDP Act, which remove the requirement of localization from it, basically.
Right. So I think we have to use privacy enhancing technologies to actually keep privacy of our data, even when it is hosted in a not so localized environment. And then we also have to invest in privacy enhancing technology development, right? So there is a not a lot of work. I mean, there is a lot of work on cryptography and little bit on the privacy enhancing technology, but I think we need more of that work. Now, the other question. So one thing that you brought about is like to actually innovation is happening around the world, and if we actually become too insular, then we will not be able to take the advantage of the innovations. And there was a time in 90s during Clinton era, I guess, when everybody was thinking that the world is a brotherhood, and will be manufacturing in other countries, and will be doing everything else in other country, and then we will be providing the services and all that stuff. But somehow that mentality has in the last I would say 5-10 years, that mentality has gone kind of reversed, and now everybody is like talking about tariffs, and that everybody is talking about going domestic and indigenous and all that. And so now in one place, India, we're very worried about is hardware supply chain.
Yeah.
Our hardware supply chain is totally, dependent on the, other countries, specific countries. So I know that government has some activities in the new semiconductor policy and so on. But my sense may be wrong because I'm not keen into it, and that's why I'm asking you for your view. Is it going well? I mean, the semiconductor activities, are we on the right path to actually get some kind of a ability to at least get may not be the highest end chips, but at least the majority of our requirements?
Yeah, so may mm, the supply chain is also manufacturing is one of the important part, and although value wise it doesn't add too much, but that's very important part. And government actually done a lot of things in last 4 5 years of time, and that's why a lot of commitment are coming in this area. I mean, I believe almost every major industry, Tata to I think LMT to so many big companies, now they have some specific commitment to get into manufacturing of a semiconductor in the country. And eventually, government is doing every bit possible. Uh, the plant coming in Micron, Applied Materials trying to commit almost $500 million investment to create this ecosystem. So one is manufacturing, but another is ecosystem. So we are also giving attention to create an ecosystem of a entire semiconductor design, tooling, those equipments that are required in lab environment, and the creating this ecosystem and making it sure that government proactively intervene to get those kind of a partnership, right? With some companies in Taiwan, some companies in Europe, some companies in US, and in one of the so the all of us we know that there is a ICT agreement that we signed, right? With the US, there is a critical technology specific agreement that US India had signed, and this semiconductor is one of the important area for that. And then also this quad also semiconductor becomes very important. Quad is another group one which talks about alternate supply chain. And we are also getting benefit of that. Means we see big companies are committing to manufacture in India, and there is a certainly India is emerging as alternate to supply chain, and government is doing every bit possible to make that happen at a very scalable level in the country. So that is definitely one important part, and I think that would eventually help us to solve this problem to some level. But one key part we have is the design strength. It's 22% of um, design engineering work in semiconductor happens out of India, and that design strength, if they are get a support. Currently, we are looking at manufacturing, tooling, and all these things. If designers get support, so then they can create IPs in India, and they can then come into the higher value chain in the semiconductor industry, basically, right? We
Right.
are They are designing for a global company, but if there is an ecosystem that we create with respect to market funding support, and then there are a lot of small startups I see in this area, how they're designing solutions and product basically. Of all that get a good support, then we can also raise up the value chain in this particular part of the thing, right? And then third important from supply chain security perspective, till the time we have that confidence, the testing of a hardware is important, and that's the area which is not only tool, because tool also costs a lot. For example, SCA systems that we have. We do have SCAs built by various different institutions, including some IIT, CEDAC, and CERT Chennai, but we don't have commercial solution in that. That's why we are buying it from Secure IC or some of the global companies. So
Right.
getting those capability in India to help you test the security and creating those kind of a skill set in the hardware security area is very important, basically, right? And that needs to be we need to, as a security fraternity, we need to put more attention to that problem.
Right. So, yeah. So so you are pretty upbeat on the future of our manufacturing and so on. I think that is very, very important for us because we cannot be indefinitely dependent on external sources, especially now. Like for example, you mentioned the NVIDIA chips. They're very difficult to get in nowadays because of the extreme demand. And also NVIDIA has been charging a leg and an arm for those chips.
$40,000 for
Yeah.
a chip, right? So that's
Yeah.
the cost, right? And but there's one more thing, sir, I would like to talk here is the attention is still little bit top down in India. Uh,
Mm.
uh, we also need to have a lot of bottom-up understanding of supply chain. I'll tell you an example of HB Hynix, which is one of the significant company in semiconductor GPU ecosystem. So they realized quite early that high bandwidth memory will be very important, and they invested the effort basically. Right now,
Mm.
$7 billion they are just only earning from Nvidia basically.
Mm.
Melon Box is a Israel-based company. They develop a network, high-speed network, and that's why NVIDIA acquired it basically. So
Mm.
can we think about those 100 uh,
Mm.
such use cases that will become significant in 2027 or 28,
Right. Right.
and look at who has those capabilities to support them so that they play a very important role in the supply chain of semiconductor industry.
Right. Yeah, so actually, there was a company I remember back in 2018 or so. I kind of had some connections with them. They were actually trying to build something like Mellanox, but eventually, I don't think that they built because we are still using Mellanox everywhere, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that didn't happen. So I think the those kind of things efforts needs to be more attention must be paid. Like there should be some national priority areas where
And
there is.
those priority has to be defined through a lot of bottom-up
Yes.
understanding, right? I was just doing mapping of a semiconductor for this physical world, AI in physical world. I'm trying to learn that better. So AI in physical world. So, for example, NVIDIA has a specific chipset for robot. So is Google. So is the Sambanova, Cerebrus. Now photonic processor came in. Aware Lab provides those light sense or light matter. Aware Lab, they provide those kind of a processor for that. And in India, we do have company like NetSemi, sorry, not NetSemi, but Incore. NetSemi is also that one. WinSemi, Netcore, which is also Vicharak in Ahmedabad, MindGrow in one of the company in Bangalore, Chennai. So if AI is going to physical world, then it will require very special purpose chips basically.
Mm.
There's some capability here in India. If you really
Mm.
support them, eventually they will play significant role in future, right? So such kind of decompass level understanding and making sure that something will become future and investing our effort for that, that's the effort that we should be taking as a country. I have dream of making a list of 100 200 such kind of use cases which will become significant by 2030 and start
Mhm.
investing our effort for that.
Yeah, that will be very good. So before I ask audience if they have any question, last question I have is, we are telling organizations that they have to have security governance, they have to have a CISO, they have to have a cybersecurity committee, etc. But then what they come back and say that I do not have the workforce, I cannot hire the workforce, and then it has become if anybody is any good in cybersecurity, they are very expensive. And then, so what can we do about like if the workforce was ample, then I don't think this kind of situation would have happened. But because it is
Yeah,
very.
workforce is ample in India for sure because we are supporting global. A lot of any global company I'm meeting, they're doing something in cybersecurity. They're coming to India. There's a competition, right? So,
Right.
is JPMC on one hand to even small company I recently met in Silicon Valley. They're also moving their security operations to India because they say India is the only location where we get a skill.
Hmm.
But because of this competition, it's very costlier to hire cybersecurity skill, right? And that's why we need to invest in engineers. And there is a program, I know IIT Kanpur is also part of that. There is a Government of India program on information security education and
Hmm.
awareness, the phase 3 of that
Yeah.
program, which is
Right.
looking at 2 lakh engineers to be created in cybersecurity. Very core skill. And
Hmm.
we are looking at not for testing or hacking only, but who can develop the products in cybersecurity.
Hmm.
So such a large program, and also leadership side, we are investing a lot. So we have the DSS strategy program. We do this professional training program in different area. We have recently started AI governance program. We are starting now DSI's quantum technology and security program. But that's largely meant to the professionals to upskill
Hmm.
themselves to the next level, right? But yes, while we whatever we do is not enough for skill building because the demand is too much. I just was reading today only. There's a report of the World Economic Forum published by 2030. AI one number and cybersecurity is second number. So that's the growth and that's the skill requirement to be required, and that's why all other things are going down and only AI and cybersecurity is coming on top. But at the same time, we are also mindful that AI will also hit a lot of cybersecurity profession. We are just doing that study how and where exactly AI, generally AI will hit cybersecurity profession basically. So mass skill that we used to generate job we need to generate in India in cybersecurity, that may not be true in coming future basically.
Right. Okay, so I think I have asked a lot of questions. I have a few more, but let me hold on and see if there is any question. So listeners, if you want to ask any question from the CEO of DSCI, if you have any questions. Yes.
रोटी खा ला गरम गरम है ये सारा कुछ खा ला उठ कर
Can you, Sania Arora, can you please mute yourself? Or Chandan, can you mute her? So are there any questions that the audience wants to ask? Otherwise, I will continue. Okay, so I have a question. So I guess I didn't see any questions from the audience. So let me continue. So in the report, one thing I noticed is where it says how many companies reported cyber attack. What caught my attention was that 72.5% of the companies did not report any cyber attack. Now that seems to me a case of underreporting, right?
And that's why we are creating obligation now. CERT has made it mandatory to report to CERT if there is some breach or attack is different, but breach happens basically. So because we may thought many attacks and then there could be some breach. So breach reporting is still now because of some mandate we seems improving in that. But if you make people realize reporting how it helps basically, right? There is a mandate and there's obligations and liability, and there is also if they realize the reporting helps you, so that will change the game quite intensely, and that's the area that we always engage and see what comes after reporting basically. If we improve on that basically, and I think many more will report breach. But yes, privacy reporting will also change a lot because privacy reporting a personal breach will bring a lot of obligation, and those obligations are very critical, and you need to report to even the data principal or and data subject. So that will change this game quite significantly, reporting for the purpose of breach.
Okay. Okay, so now we are starting to have questions. So one person is asking, Swastik Sharma is asking, how to start a career in cybersecurity? Any good resource roadmap to follow? So you want to say something to him?
Yeah, there are different ways. So if you are a student, then I think IIT Kanpur and some other IIT runs very good courses. They run, I think there is also planned. I remember, if I remember it, you're also looking at BTech and MTech in cybersecurity. You also have specialized program, e-learning,
e-masters
in cybersecurity, and many such IITs and institutions has it. So if you are a student and even professional, e-masters is for professionals as well. So that's the one way. Going for professional certification is also because most of the global jobs requires you to have global certification. ISACA, CS, IC score certification helps you to kick up your career there. We also offer some of the professional certification program in India. Going deeper, without your certification also, if you go deeper, understand things better, and then you can test systems better, you can build it better. The bug bounty programs every company is now launching. So through that, you can either earn money or you can also be part of those kind of things. So that could be another way to look at. And more importantly, cybersecurity is not technology. Means a lawyer can play a very important role. even eventually, as we talk about human mind hacking, so anthropologists, psychologists may have quite a significant role coming future. We also have now cyber psychologists as a stream which is coming in. There are a lot of cyber psychologists now we see in India. There's a conference also every year happen on cyber psychologist conference basically. So there are various different ways to do that, and there is also future scale platform of government of India. So there are various different things, but you have to understand the roadmap. That's a very important part of this question, like what you want. So there is a 3-4 thing. Right? One is you can become CISO, you can become a product company or CEO of a product company. You can be an academia, lead the education. You can become a consultant and become a partner, consulting partner. You can become a delivery head for a services company, or you can run a services company. So these are different leadership role available, and then based on that you can look at how you chart your career towards those roles basically.
Yeah, so I think this another way to get into cybersecurity, if you're good in programming and all, is to take part in hackathon. So
Yeah.
I'm doing plug.
Yeah.
So we are running an hackathon. So if you because to do the hackathon, if you are good in programming, then all you need at that time would be you will be forced to do research on various problems in cybersecurity, and you will get a very good idea because you will be done it under sort of like a stress of a hackathon. So that makes things better. Now, Anag is asking a question like how how will these semiconductor facilities that have come up in Gujarat and Assam in reducing dependency on foreign chip makers?
Yeah, because if you manufacture that in India and we consume that in India, at least they say 500 billion chips that we'll be buying in some time. So some part of that will be certainly domestically manufactured, and we'll be also exporting that basically, right? So I'm not saying 100%, but a lot of areas where we will have chips manufactured in India. So these big fabs which are getting in Gujarat and Assam also, I visited Assam there. Very big land has been allocated to them. And also in Bangalore, also Tata is doing quite significant work. I think all that, and not only Tata, but there are many other organizations which are doing the work basically, which will certainly make India as a significant player in semiconductor chip manufacturing.
All right. So next question is Sania Arora is asking, should we go for certification exams like CEH and all, and go for the master's program in order to make a career in cybersecurity? So it's a
yeah. So it depends. Like, what is your usually? I know testing, hacking is the important part, and sometimes I believe that's a very glamorous part of the security profession. But real security profession is nothing but helping to defend and protect and respond well, right? By building solution or working with organization, basically. And for that, you need deeper understanding. So doing the MTech program could really help you to have a very deeper understanding and deeper contribution that you can make it to the cyber health of the country or for the organization you are serving, basically, right? Professional certification helps you to relate your prohibitions to the professional requirement, basically. So, and sometimes, many times happens that professional certificates bring some kind of consistency in the skill requirement. That's add-on that you can think about, basically. Sometimes professional certificate can help you to get entry, but going deeper is something required because AI coming in, a lot of complexities coming in cybersecurity. So some peripheral understanding of security will not help you. You need to be going more deeper, and that requires you to really look at those courses which can teach you how to understand things at a more fundamental level.
Okay, so and one last question because we are at the top of the hour. Navneet Bijal one is asking like in all the entry level job postings are asking for CAH, OSCP, CISSP, and minimum 3 years of experience. How should I approach this? I think this is a big problem because everybody is looking for experience, but freshers don't have experience. So how should they approach this situation?
So unfortunately, cybersecurity is a lateral profession until now, right? All of us come to cybersecurity after doing so many other things. I was in telecom doing switching, then I joined TCS, and then I came to security, right? So, and that is a history of this profession, right? That is now getting little changed, but yes, it's still seen as a lateral profession, and that's a little bit constraining part of this, and because of that, the professional certification also require you to be having experience, basically, right? But many area, at least in the openings or early stage career in cybersecurity, now they're removing those requirements, basically, right? You can get a certification, get the experience, and then you can submit those experiences and get a certificate, basically, right? This definitely, I can understand. This is a definitely one constraint to enter into cybersecurity field.
All right. So also he has given a reference to a SANS report that says 4.8 million cybersecurity professionals are needed today, which probably may be true, right?
Sir, I have now my own doubts about me. At one point in time we could subscribe this, but I have to now revalidate this based on all the thing that I'm seeing in AI. I had met one of the CIO in $100 billion plus company. I had seen the number of people, how they brought it to a level where every year, this year they save $33 million just to optimizing the workforce by using automation, AI, and many other things, basically. So we need to revisit these figures now and see how AI will be creating challenges in terms of number of jobs that can get created in cybersecurity.
So is GSTI going to put out some kind of
we are looking to put together some report to see where exactly it stands and how it will change from now.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Vinayak ji, for a whole hour with us in your busy schedule. So thank you so much. And because of Sunday, I guess the audience were not very big, but I hope that they got some very important understanding of the threat situation of today and various other aspects, and also have a better understanding of what TSCI is doing. But we'll put it on the YouTube, and hopefully there will be more people watching this. But thank you so much, and we look forward to your visit. I think you are coming in the privacy workshop.
February 6th. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Chandan.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a comprehensive and inspiring session. And with that, we conclude today's webinar on Cybersecurity Landscape 2025, the challenges, the innovation, and the hackathon advantage. On behalf of Hack IIT K, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers for sharing their expertise and valuable perspective. To our audience, thank you for joining us today. We hope this session has been as enriching for you as it has been for us. Stay tuned for upcoming sessions where we'll continue to explore the cutting edge of technology, cybersecurity, and innovation. Until then, stay safe, stay secure, and keep innovating. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vinayak ji.